If your legs feel heavy, cold, weak, or slow, what I'm about to tell you might change everything. Because this is not old age, and most doctors are checking the wrong thing. I know what you've been told. You've probably heard it's just part of getting older. That slower legs, colder feet, that exhausting heaviness every time you stand up, that it's all just the price of living longer. But what if I told you that in most cases, the problem isn't your heart? It's not even your age. It's something far more specific, far more fixable, and something that's been hiding in plain sight while you've been suffering in silence. Let me paint a picture I know you'll recognize. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, you're already calculating. Can I make it to the bathroom without holding the wall? Will my legs cooperate today? Or will they feel like dead weight? You stand up, and there it is. That heaviness, like someone tied sandbags to your ankles while you were sleeping. Walking to the kitchen feels like wading through water, and by the time you've made breakfast, you're already tired. Not sleepy. Tired. Like your body spent all night running a marathon you don't remember signing up for. Then there's the cold. Your feet feel like ice, even in the summer. You wear socks to bed. You avoid tile floors. You've learned to keep slippers within arm's reach because the shock of cold feet hitting the ground in the morning is just too much. And the weakness. That's the part that scares you, isn't it? Because it's not dramatic. It's not like a sudden injury. It's gradual, insidious. You notice you're walking shorter distances. You need a hand getting up from low chairs. You find yourself avoiding stairs, not because they hurt, but because you don't trust your legs anymore. And here's what hurts most. It's not the pain. It's not even the physical limitation. It's losing confidence in your own body. It's the fear that creeps in when you realize you're planning your entire day around whether your legs will cooperate. It's the frustration of feeling trapped in a body that used to carry you anywhere you wanted to go. And it's the quiet resignation that settles in when everyone around you, even your doctor, keeps saying the same thing. It's just your age. But what if it's not? Here's what most people don't understand, including many well-meaning doctors. When they check your circulation, they're usually looking at the big picture. Your heart, your major arteries, maybe your blood pressure. And when those numbers come back normal or close to normal, they send you home with a pat on the back and a prescription for patience. But they're missing something crucial. They're looking at the highways when the real problem is in the side streets. Think about your circulatory system like a city's power grid. You've got the main power lines. Those are your major arteries. They carry blood from your heart to the general regions of your body. Doctors love checking those. They can measure them, scan them, listen to them. But here's what they often overlook: the neighborhood wiring, the tiny microscopic blood vessels deep inside your leg muscles, your feet, your calves. These are called capillaries, and they're where the real magic happens. This is where oxygen actually gets delivered to your cells. This is where waste gets picked out. This is where your legs get the fuel they need to work properly. And when those tiny vessels aren't functioning well, it doesn't matter how strong your heart is. It doesn't matter if your major arteries are clear as crystal. Your legs aren't getting what they need, and every single symptom you've been experiencing, the heaviness, the cold, the weakness, the exhaustion, it all makes perfect sense. Now, here's where this gets interesting, and this is the part most doctors won't tell you because they either don't know or they don't have time to explain it properly. The health of those microscopic vessels in your legs depends on a very specific set of nutrients, not just any vitamins, not some generic senior multivitamin you grab off the shelf. I'm talking about 6 very specific nutrients that work together to keep blood flowing smoothly through those tiny channels. And the shocking truth is that most seniors are dangerously deficient in at least 3 of them. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you some vague list and send you on your way. I'm going to walk you through all 6 of these nutrients, ranked from the least important to the absolute most critical one. The one that when it's low, everything else falls apart. The one that's probably been missing from your body for years and nobody thought to properly test for it. But before I reveal that number one nutrient, I want you to understand how we got here, because knowing what to take is only half the battle. Understanding why you need it, that's what actually changes things. Before I show you what's really happening, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here's why. YouTube only shows this video to a tiny fraction of people, and if I don't get engagement in the first hour, it gets buried forever. Thousands of people are watching their leg health deteriorate right now because this information never reached them. Don't let that happen. Subscribe, then keep watching. What I'm about to reveal will make everything make sense. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. 6 nutrients that support leg circulation, ranked by importance. And by the time we get to number 1, you're going to understand exactly why your legs have been betraying you. Number 6. I'm calling this the vessel protector. Now, I'm not going to name it right away, because I want you to understand what it does first. This nutrient has one primary job. It keeps your blood vessel walls flexible. Think of your vessels like garden hoses. When they're new, they're soft, pliable, they can expand and contract easily, but over time, especially without this particular nutrient, they become stiff, brittle, they crack easier. They don't expand when blood flow increases, and when that happens in those microscopic vessels in your legs, blood flow becomes sluggish. It's like trying to water your garden with a hose that's got kinks in it everywhere. This nutrient also acts as a shield. It protects the inner lining of your blood vessels from damage from inflammation, from oxidative stress, from all the little assaults that happen just from living day to day. When this protective lining is strong, blood flows smoothly. When it's damaged, it's like driving on a potholed road. Everything slows down, everything gets harder. The vitamin I'm talking about is vitamin E, and here's why it's number 6 instead of higher. It's important, yes, but it works slowly. You won't feel an immediate change. It's building protection over time, preventing further damage. That makes it foundational but not transformative on its own. Number 5, the structural builder. This one is all about the physical architecture of your blood vessels. Your vessel walls aren't just empty tubes. They're made of collagen and elastic tissue. They need to be strong enough to withstand blood pressure, but flexible enough to expand and contract thousands of times a day. When this nutrient is low, your vessel walls become weak. They lose their structure. They can't maintain proper tone. And when the walls of those tiny leg capillaries become fragile, circulation suffers dramatically. Here's the problem most seniors face with this one. Your body needs it to constantly repair and rebuild vessel walls. But as you age, you absorb less of it from food, way less. So, even if you're eating foods rich in this nutrient, you might only be getting a fraction of what your body actually needs. And over months and years, this deficit compounds. Your vessels get weaker, they leak, they become brittle, and suddenly, those heavy, cold legs make perfect sense. This is vitamin C. And I know what you're thinking. Vitamin C is for colds, right? That's what everyone says. But its most critical job in your body is building and maintaining connective tissue, including the walls of every single blood vessel you have. When you're deficient, which many seniors are, your circulation infrastructure literally starts falling apart at the microscopic level. Now, we're getting to the ones that you'll actually feel. Number 4, I call this the you'll feel this one vitamin, and I mean that literally. When people start supplementing this properly, they often report warmth returning to their feet within days, sometimes even hours. They feel a gentle tingling, not painful, just awareness, like blood is flowing into places it hasn't reached in years. Their muscles relax. That constant tension in their calves starts to ease up. Why does this happen? Because this nutrient is a powerful vasodilator. That's a fancy word that means it helps blood vessels relax and open up. When vessels are constricted, blood can't flow freely. It's like trying to push water through a straw that someone's pinching in the middle. But when this nutrient does its job, those vessels open up, blood rushes through, and suddenly your legs start getting the oxygen and nutrients they've been starving for. But here's where I need to be completely straight with you. This one is powerful, and powerful tools must be used carefully. If you take too much, especially the immediate release form, you might experience a temporary flush. Your skin might turn red, feel warm, maybe even tingle uncomfortably for 20 or 30 minutes. It's not dangerous, but it can be alarming if you don't know it's coming. This is why you start low, build up slowly, and many people find that the extended release form works better for them. This is niacin, also called vitamin B3, and it's sitting at number 4, not because it's weak, it's actually incredibly effective, but because it works best when combined with the nutrients above it on this list. Niacin can open up your vessels, but if those vessels are damaged and weak from lack of vitamin C and E, you're only solving half the problem. Number 3, the calcium traffic director. Now this one requires you to understand something that most people get completely backwards. You've probably been told to take calcium for your bones, right? Maybe you've been taking calcium supplements for years, but here's what nobody explained to you. When you take calcium without this particular vitamin, that calcium doesn't necessarily end up where you want it. Instead of strengthening your bones, it can end up depositing in your arteries, in your blood vessels, in exactly the places where you absolutely do not want hard, inflexible calcium building up. Picture your blood vessels turning into rigid pipes. That's arterial calcification, and it's one of the primary reasons. Blood flow to the legs becomes impaired as people age. The vessels lose their flexibility. They can't expand. They can't respond to the body's changing needs. Blood flow becomes restricted, and every single symptom we've talked about gets worse. This vitamin acts like a traffic cop for calcium in your body. It directs calcium into your bones where it belongs and keeps it out of your soft tissues and blood vessels where it causes problems. Without it, you could be taking all the calcium in the world and actually making your circulation worse. This is vitamin K2, not K1, which is different and mainly helps with blood clotting. K2 specifically manages calcium metabolism. And the cruel irony is that most seniors are taking calcium religiously but have never even heard of K2. They're unknowingly contributing to the very vessel stiffness that's destroying their leg circulation. Number 2, the silent hormone. Now, technically, this isn't a vitamin in the traditional sense. It's actually a hormone that your body can produce from sunlight. But here's the problem. As you age, your skin becomes less efficient at producing it. Way less efficient. An elderly person standing in the same sunlight as a young person might produce 75% less of this crucial substance. And if you're spending most of your time indoors, if you're using sunscreen religiously, if you live in a northern climate, your levels are almost certainly low, dangerously low. Why does this matter for your legs? Because this hormone vitamin has a direct effect on the smooth muscle cells inside your blood vessels. These cells control whether vessels stay open or clamp down tight. When this nutrient is adequate, these muscles stay relaxed and responsive. Blood flows freely. But when it's deficient, these muscle cells become dysfunctional. They stay contracted. They forget how to relax. Your vessels are chronically constricted, and no amount of walking or exercise is going to fix that because the problem is biochemical, not mechanical. This is vitamin D. And study after study has shown that people with low vitamin D levels have significantly worse circulation, particularly in their legs. They're more likely to develop peripheral artery disease. They're more likely to experience muscle weakness and fatigue. And here's the connection to number 1 that I need you to understand. When vitamin D is low, your body struggles to properly utilize the next nutrient on our list. In fact, they work so closely together that if vitamin D is deficient, the number one nutrient we're about to discuss becomes almost impossible for your body to use effectively, even if you're taking supplements. And that brings us to number one, the oxygen carrier. This is it. This is the nutrient that when it's low, everything else starts to cascade. Your legs feel weak, not just because of poor circulation, but because even the blood that is reaching your muscles can't deliver adequate oxygen. You feel exhausted because every cell in your legs is functioning in a state of chronic oxygen deprivation. You feel cold because your body is prioritizing oxygen delivery to vital organs, letting your extremities suffer. You experience numbness and tingling because the nerves in your legs need constant oxygen to function, and when they don't get it, they start misfiring. This nutrient is the core component of hemoglobin, the protein in your red blood cells that literally grabs oxygen in your lungs and carries it to every cell in your body. Without adequate levels, it doesn't matter how well your heart is pumping. It doesn't matter if your vessels are wide open and flexible. Your blood simply cannot carry enough oxygen to meet your legs' needs. And here's what makes this so insidious. Standard blood tests often miss this deficiency. They look at your hemoglobin level, and if it's not critically low, they tell you you're fine. But there's a difference between not anemic and optimal. There's a huge range where you can be technically normal on paper, but functionally deficient in terms of what your body actually needs to thrive. Your doctor sees your numbers, sees they're within the broad reference range, and dismisses your symptoms as just aging. But those symptoms are real. The crushing fatigue, the muscle weakness, the brain fog, the balance issues that you've been attributing to getting older, the shortness of breath doing activities that used to be easy, the way your legs feel like lead weights by mid-afternoon, all of it can be directly connected to insufficient oxygen delivery. And the nutrient responsible for oxygen delivery is iron, working in conjunction with vitamin B12. I'm listing them together as number one because they work as a team. Iron is the physical carrier. It's what oxygen molecules bind to. But you need adequate B12 to produce healthy red blood cells in the first place. Without B12, your body makes red blood cells that are too large and misshapen to work efficiently. Without iron, those cells can't carry oxygen even if they're the right shape. You need both. And the devastating truth is that iron and B12 deficiency are epidemic among seniors, especially women, especially people with digestive issues, especially people on certain medications. Why is deficiency so common? Several reasons. First, stomach acid decreases with age, and you need stomach acid to extract iron and B12 from food. Second, many common medications further reduce stomach acid. Third, digestive disorders that often develop in later years interfere with absorption. Fourth, subtle internal bleeding that many people don't even know they have can slowly drain iron stores over years. And fifth, dietary intake often decreases. Less red meat, less variety, smaller portions. So you've got reduced intake combined with reduced absorption, combined with increased loss, combined with doctors not properly testing or recognizing subclinical deficiency. It's a perfect storm, and your legs pay the price. Now here's where everything I've told you comes together. Here's the synergy reveal that separates people who understand nutrition from people who just take random supplements and wonder why nothing changes. These 6 nutrients don't work in isolation. They work as a system, and this is where most people fail, even when they take supplements. You can take iron, but without adequate vitamin C, your body can't absorb it efficiently. You can supplement vitamin D, but without K2, you risk calcifying your arteries while trying to improve bone health. You can take niacin to dilate vessels, but if those vessels are weakened from vitamin E and C deficiency, you're just forcing more blood through damaged pipes, and all of this is meaningless if you don't have adequate iron and B12 to ensure that the blood flowing through those vessels can actually deliver oxygen. This is not about taking more supplements. It's about taking the right supplements in the right combinations, understanding the relationships between them, and giving your body the complete package it needs to restore function. One vitamin might give you a 10% improvement. The right combination, properly balanced, can give you a completely different quality of life. So what should you expect if you address these deficiencies properly? Let me give you a realistic timeline, because I'm not here to sell you false hope. I'm here to tell you the truth. In the first week or two, if you're truly deficient, you might notice warmth returning to your feet, especially if you're using niacin. You might experience fewer nighttime leg cramps. Some people report sleeping better because their legs aren't constantly uncomfortable. These are the early signs that circulation is improving at the capillary level. By week 4 to 6, you might notice your legs don't feel as heavy when you first stand up in the morning. You might be able to walk a bit farther before needing to rest. Your balance might improve slightly because your leg muscles are getting better oxygen delivery and can respond more quickly. The cold sensation in your feet might become less constant. By 3 months, if you're consistent and working with the right doses for your individual needs, this is when people often report significant changes. Walking distances increase noticeably. Stairs become manageable again. The crushing fatigue that hits mid-afternoon eases up. You might find yourself spontaneously doing activities you'd given up on. Gardening, shopping trips, playing with grandchildren. But here's what won't happen overnight. You won't wake up tomorrow with perfect circulation. Damaged blood vessels need time to repair. Depleted nutrient stores need time to rebuild. Your body has been functioning in deficiency mode for months or years. It needs time to remember what optimal feels like. And I need to be clear about something else. There are symptoms that look like circulation problems, but are actually nerve damage, structural joint issues, or signs of serious disease. If you have sudden onset of leg weakness, if you have pain that wakes you at night, if you have wounds that won't heal, if one leg is significantly different from the other, you need medical evaluation. What I'm describing here addresses nutritional deficiency, which is incredibly common and vastly under-recognized. But it's not the answer to everything, which brings me to this. If you're on medications, particularly blood thinners, blood pressure medications, or diabetes medications, you absolutely must review any supplement changes with your healthcare provider. Vitamin K can interact with blood thinners. Niacin can affect blood sugar and blood pressure. Iron can interact with multiple medications. This isn't legal paranoia. This is practical safety. Your doctor needs to know what you're putting in your body so they can monitor you appropriately and adjust medications if needed. But here's what I want you to really hear, because this is the message that matters most. Aging does not shut circulation down. Neglect does. Deficiency does. Years of not giving your body what it truly needs. That's what shuts circulation down. And the beautiful, hopeful truth is that your body wants to heal. It wants to work properly. It's designed to repair, to restore, to regain function when given the right building blocks. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not just old. You are experiencing the predictable, logical consequences of long-term nutritional deficiency in a system that requires very specific nutrients to function. And when you provide those nutrients in the right combinations, with patience and consistency, your body responds. Not perfectly, not like you're 20 again, but meaningfully, significantly. Enough to reclaim activities you thought were lost forever. Enough to walk without fear. Enough to feel warmth in your feet again. Enough to trust your legs to carry you where you want to go. That's not a miracle. That's just biology, working the way it's supposed to when you finally give it what it's been asking for all along. If you found this helpful, do me a favor. Comment the word legs below, so I know this resonated with you, and so the algorithm knows to share this with other people who desperately need to hear it. Share this video with someone you know who's struggling with weak, cold, or tired legs. And if you want me to create a follow-up video covering the specific doses, the best forms of these nutrients, and how to work with your doctor to test your levels properly, let me know in the comments. Your legs have carried you your entire life. It's time to give them what they need to keep carrying you forward.